A rain garden is a garden constructed in a shallow, dish-like depression. They are designed to capture stormwater runoff from a hard surface, such as a sidewalk, driveway, or street, or from a rooftop via a gutter and downspout. They can also take in water that runs off a grassy area. This rain garden catches runoff from the bricked walkway shown in the foreground. The purpose of a rain garden is to catch water that would have run off and hold that water so it can infiltrate into the soil. A rain garden can help keep precipitation close to where it falls and prevent erosion and the movement of pollutants in runoff. They also help recharge groundwater. This is a rain garden very soon after a storm. A rain garden will fill with water if there is enough precipitation, but they are designed with the intention that the collected water will soak into the ground within about 24 to no more than 48 hours after it rains. Because the water infiltrating into the ground is an essential part of a rain garden's function, it is very important to know the ability of the soil at the site to absorb water, so a percolation test is a necessity. This very exciting photo shows a percolation test in progress. Here a hole was dug, then filled with water that was allowed to drain away. The hole was then filled with water again, the level was marked with the popsicle stick, and the drop in the water level was measured at certain time intervals to determine how much water was taken up by the soil over a period of time. Ideally, the infiltration rate should be 1/2 inch per hour or faster for a rain garden to function well. When you have determined the size of rain garden that is right for you, the rain garden should be laid out with stakes, paint, or a flexible garden hose, and then the digging begins. But do remember to call your local utility locating service to locate underground utilities before you dig. Some of the soil that is dug out of the garden can be used to build a low berm on the downhill side of the garden to hold the water. Most likely some areas will need to be dug more deeply than others because the bottom of the rain garden should be level so the water spreads to an equal depth. A word about rain garden size. You can never expect a rain garden to hold all the runoff from a really heavy storm. But if you capture most of the runoff from those smaller, more common storms, you are making a very positive difference. In anticipation of those heavier storms where the rain garden can't hold all the runoff, an overflow outlet should always be included in the rain garden design. The overflow is an area where the water can escape when it reaches a certain depth. This prevents the rain garden from overtopping and washing out the berm or sides. If the rain garden includes a berm on the downhill side, the overflow is usually located in the berm. Overflows need some sort of protection or armoring. Here, cobblestones were used to protect the overflow. You are encouraged to plant native plants in a rain garden because they are adapted to the environmental conditions of the area. That means that once established, they generally won't require watering, fertilizing, or pest control. Another reason native plants are great for a rain garden is their deep root systems. Each band of green in the graphic represents 2 feet of depth. You can see that the native prairie plants, numbers 1 through 9, have massive root systems. The large volume of roots does a great job of using the water that is captured in a rain garden. There are some do's and don'ts to consider when selecting a location for a rain garden. Do put it where it will capture runoff and where it will blend into your existing landscape. Locate the garden downslope of nearby buildings so the water infiltrating into the ground doesn't cause problems for the foundation. Don't put a rain garden within 10 feet of a building foundation, again to protect the building from water problems. Don't put the rain garden over a septic tank or a septic drain field. And don't locate a rain garden where water already ponds, because you know the soil infiltration isn't good in that spot. Don't locate it over a well or buried utility lines. Rain gardens really shouldn't be located beneath an established tree because the digging will damage the tree's roots. And don't put them over shallow groundwater. There might not be enough soil to effectively filter the infiltrating water before it reaches the water table. Once the garden is constructed, then it's time for the fun part, the plants. University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension has recommendations for plants to be used in rain gardens. These are just a few of the many choices. A rain garden can be a beautiful addition to your landscape, but as with any garden, it will require some maintenance. During the establishment period, which can take a year or two with natives, you may need to water the plants if there isn't sufficient rainfall. Weeding is very important in the first couple of years, and you need to remain vigilant for weeds later also, just as you do with any planting bed. The rain garden should have a layer of shredded mulch to help keep down weeds and conserve moisture, and this mulch will need to be replaced occasionally, as it will break down. You can find these rain garden neb guides and other rain garden information on the UNL Water website at water.unl.edu/web/landscapes/rain-gardens, or contact your local UNL Extension office. Hopefully, I've given you some ideas for constructing rain gardens. I'm Bobbi Holm, Extension Educator with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.